Hello, hello, hello. My name is Notepad Anon, and today we are going. Let's just make sure everything is live. Yep. We are going to be working some more on Blood, Coin, and Steel, and in turn, the Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game 2nd edition. We have playing in the background is the Yume Miru Kusuri soundtrack, actually, because I just rediscovered it, and it's really good. So, here's your weeb shit. Deal with it. Alright, let's get on what we were doing. It's a little bit later tonight, didn't plan on that as much, but we are going to work on Blackfire Rebellion's dynastic management. This is actually one of the bigger expansions, so it's going to take a little while for everything to load up. But the Blackfire Rebellion's one was the major addition to a lot of dynastic improvements. And really, I think the Blackfire Rebellion is probably my best that I wrote. And I think it really tied the game together a lot better than I thought it was going to. But, let's get going, shall we? Did I capitalize everything? Yes, I did. Should really change the name of the stream. There we are, a little bit more impressive. Oh yeah, I should also, I always forget to put it up to 150% so people can actually read it. You can really tell right off the bat which are the important wars, Black Fire Rebellions, and which ones are definitively not. As this is a massive war of death, destruction, and terribleness. These take up a third of the page. Rewrite this section a little bit. Let me just bump up the font because I was doing a little bit of work earlier today. Yeah, only the first Blackfire Rebellion is really, dare I say, important. The rest are pretty small in comparison, or are resolved pretty quickly by the matter, as this is literally everything else. Move that over here just so I can get, no, there we are. Then we have the 5th Blackfire Rebellion, otherwise known as the War of 9 Penny Kings. I'm wondering what I'm clicking at is to make sure everything is working. It is! Congratulations, me. But, yeah, War of 9 Penny Kings was actually a fairly large war and actually set in motion a lot of the events of the book, as a majority of the characters actually are veterans of the conflict. Which we had, let's see, some, I don't believe it was Robert's father, but I believe it was his grandfather? I can't remember off the top of my head. But you have things like Brynden Tully, Steffan Baratheon, Tywin Lannister, Kevin Lannister, Aerys, and Barristan Selmy, all making names for themselves during the conflict. And then we get to the fun what if section. Was crowed by... Actually split these up a little bit, make it a little bit easier to read because this one went on a little bit long. And heading 1. Danny Rees. Whoa, okay. Let's make sure I'm spelling this right. Neresis. Neresis. This is. Or as I call this, the Shinzo Abe experience. Ha! Political jokes. It's funny because nobody understands them. I'm going to shrink this. Oh, goodness. Okay, we gotta go back. Yeah, I actually tried to use a little bit of, what's the word for things that rhyme that isn't word rhyming? I can't think of the word right now. I'm very tired, if you can't tell. But both of these are technically... Here, actually, I'm going to put you right there. Right there. Both of these are the Lannisters, Joanna and Tywin, actually. Because Tywin really loved Joanna. Then they have Tyrion, and then she died, and it was real sad, and everybody cried, except Tywin, because Tywin's a dick. Can't put you right there. You still gonna? Yeah, perfect. We're gonna put you right there. What's the name of this song? I don't remember. I don't remember this one playing. Oh, yep, I do remember this one. And well, one thing I do quite often is leave all these open for comments. I do like it when people say, and mostly Mr. Alex Jensen here, he was actually, throughout all of this, he was actually being fairly solid and would actually resolve some of these, just because they've been here for a while at this point. Actually, let's see where we are, roughly speaking. All of the various Stark children. Good old Stark children that aren't dead. We don't like dead child children. But we all know this is why you're here. All the was our, owned by us, and our enemies knew to fear our. All that was. This is here comes the fun part, because what we're going to do is we're going to change this to heading 2 story. We'll do heading 3, oof, come on. Actually one of my favorite tracks from this. It's called To the World of Dreams. It's a really nice one. Even though the context of it is kinda messed up, but we don't talk about the context. Drugs, kids, don't do them. I'm gonna be heading 3. Fun fact about that, I actually met Jason Momoa. Well, met is a strong word, but I definitely saw him. That man is massive. It's hard to actually, like, get across the sight. Like, that man is huge. Like, I'm a big guy, but Jesus. That is he's a brick, you know, outhouse of a man, and he's just like, nah. It's like, please, you could destroy me. I don't know why I put ILS. It's SKILS. Those are skills. So skilled you lose an L. Alright, so that is it, I believe. Let's take a look here to make sure everything looks right. Yes, yes. Wait. Perfect. Everything looks exactly the way it should be. You know what that means? We get to put a U on the end of it for updated. Well, we can do one more. We can do one more major one. Let's do a small major. Dancing with Dragons. This was actually the last one that I wrote. And so it's probably the most jank, because I wasn't really going off much. You'll also notice I did have started putting prefaces in. I like prefaces in a lot of my works, just to kind of give a little bit of context for what's going to be written going forward. Mostly when it came to this, because I wanted to kind of explain why this was the way it was going to be. Hi, Melisandre. Melisandre. Oh, goodness. Yeah, fix my glasses. Can't see anything. Listen to the fantastic violin work. And there's my squeaky, squeaky chair. Because it isn't a stream unless I can deafen someone with my chair. Yep. yes, I did decide to add in a few strange things, such as being able to play giants. Why? Because I thought it would be not necessarily appropriate, but fun, if anything, to have the idea of, hey, I want to play a giant. I want to, play a character mostly for wildlings. As you can see, they do play a little bit differently than others, mostly because they are dumb as bricks. Yeah, my very cop-out answer when it came to dealing with the dragon ages, because fun fact, dragons are another kind of hand-wavy thing for good old Martin to deal with. So I had to kind of wing it with a lot of this. We also have dragon benefits. Dragon drawbacks. here's kind of a contentious one, is the inclusion of the others. Now, if you know your Game of Thrones lore at all, you know the others are kind of crazy individuals, just power-wise. They are impossibly strong, nearly immortal unless you stab them with a special metal and or have literal dragons fighting for you. They also are pretty perfect. If you take in the book's account of things, they're also even stronger magically, as they are almost perfect. Mostly if you also factor in the RPG book's kind of depiction of them, because the book came out right before or right after A Dance with Dragons, which explained a little bit more about them, but not much. So they even kind of did a little bit of aggressive hand motions with them, kind of to give an idea of how they actually work. This was my interpretation of them. They are all terrifying. That's what it is. They're terrifying. Lights. And then I was also having fun with the Merling conspiracy. This is the ending to the super serious book about dragons and dying. Is it meets the Merlings. The Merlings are the true threat to Westeros. There we are. Oh, I forgot to put my U in there. Let's see, it is 8:51. I have been streaming for 45 minutes. Alright, I can go. I can keep going. Do we want to wrap it up? Do we want to be cool? Do we want to be cool dudes and wrap up Essos? Yeah, let's be cool dudes and wrap up Essos. All that glitters is not gold. And how long is Essos? I might not do it tonight because it's literally long. Okay, it's only 31 pages. Yeah, I can do it. What happens if I select heading to, bump it down to 11? No, you're not going to work anyway. Look at it. Well, the music has stopped. So let's see what we can do to pull up something nicer. I'm only going... This is from Katawa Shoujo. Another fantastic little visual novel that if you have the chance to, you should play. It's actually really good for what it says, and probably one of the better depictions of, you know, just storytelling in general. And I'm not just saying that. I do honestly mean it. Do, do, do. this all fancy like. Alright, and with that, every single one of these have been updated. We did it. We did it. Good job, everyone. We did it. We finished updating all the major expansions. And now we gotta go through all the minor ones. Oh boy. Well, these ones shouldn't take too long. We'll just start with man's best friend. This one actually turned out to be, well, a lot more complicated than I was hoping it to be, because turns out when you have a system designed around intrigue and, you know, fighting people and being really secretive and doing cool stuff, having a dog in the middle of it kind of throws everything for a loop and a half. There we go. What am I doing? Oh goodness, I gotta do some alphabetizing. So we want to put you up here. Oh, getting good old text messages from people. Nope, that's not a text message. That is a thing to remind me to do another thing. Alright. Let's see, we've been streaming for a little over an hour right now. That's another thing. What's going on, people? Who's in danger? Oh. Okie dokie. Let's do another minor expansion. Man's best friend. Let's make you there. So let's see. Done. Let's do one people. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's finish it up tonight. I know this is probably the least exciting thing in the world to be viewing. However, here we are doing it. Maybe wondering, but why, though? Why are we doing it? Well, at the end of the day, this is what it ends up being. This is game design at its finest. This. Going through, making sure all the numbers look correct. title. We want heading 1. We want to make that bold. Keep it, yeah. Yeah, you can tell I'm getting tired. I keep messing up. you can tell by the artwork, I used a lot of King of Dragon Pass for this, for examples of how to get the correct feeling in it. The tribes at their core are kind of different from the normal, dare I say, types of people, the civilized folk, you could call them, because they're dealing, I think I talked about this in the first stream, because they're dealing with a lot different things. You as a nobleman are dealing with, hey, we have to deal with our neighbors who are jackasses and we don't like them because they're stealing our things because I have an ancient piece of paper telling me I own it. These guys are dealing with far more deeper struggles. It's, we hate the clan from over there because the clan from over there literally and physically, according to our histories, ate one of us, and we hate that, and we want to kill them because it is our family history that we do it. Alright, let's see. One people. We want to put a little U there. Finally, let's wrap up this stream with a Brotherhood without banners. The Brotherhood without banners is obviously named after the Brotherhood without banners, led by Beric Dondarrion and company. However, I did add two other things. I added Hedge Knights and becoming a Hedge Knight traveling band, because what's... there we go. Because what's funner than being just dunk an egg and hanging out? Some parts. everybody. We did it. We have successfully completed all of our updates to the books. We have all the expansions wrapped up. You may be wondering what the hell this is, playing the Game of Thrones. That's just the narrator's guidebook that I originally made. I'm not going to be updating that because it's already in the main book the way it is, so I don't think it really needs to be updated, but everything else has been updated. So let me just rename one people. So what now? What now? What do we do now? So Blood, Coin, and Steel is, roughly speaking, completed. Again, we've wrapped everything up. Everything's nice and pretty and exactly the way we want it. However, we're still going to be going through some things and just taking a look at it, making sure everything's the way it should be. And we're also going to see if we can't get that feedback back that we were talking about last stream, as well as do a little bit of writing to add a little bit more. Now, you may be wondering, what do we plan on adding? Now, if we look at our handy-dandy Notepad document here, one of the key things was that group actions were fairly bare. Now, how do we fix that? Well, my idea is what I have is that at the end of every year, every 4 seasons, is you hold court. Now, what is court? Court is when you pretty much is a summary of all the things happening that year and kind of planning forward. So you can opt to, let's say, improve your holdings. Start constructing new holdings. Converse with other people. Pretty much during this time, you have all the chance in the world to do things. And by doing things, you can influence the world in general. You build your new castle, help your new friends out, move resources, trade, sell your goods off during this time. But that's pretty much your opportunity to do it at that point. Now, I'll probably call it something generic to apply to everyone, but that's the key idea. Is kind of every season you're able to improve things and move things along, but it's kind of more based on what you do and what the narrator gives you. Court is really your opportunity to do it yourself. It's your time to sit down with your group of people and say, all right, this is what we're doing, this is what we're improving, this is how we're going to do it, and then doing it. It's to kind of give the players, and in turn you, the narrator, a little bit more leeway and kind of pushing your group where they want to go, and them kind of signaling to you where they want to go. They want to start building a new castle. Castle's going to take a long time. You're going to have to plan that out, but that also signifies that they want to keep it. If they're thinking short term, if you're planning a war or something, have that factor in. If they don't decide they want to start building, recruiting more troops, recruiting more soldiers, getting ready for this upcoming conflict, this is their time to do such. It's their time to improve what they have, to get their resources where they have to get them, as well as throughout the entire year. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, is making that group action fairly specific to court. I was also thinking about doing minor seasonal actions, kind of act as a general group push. Now, what I want these to do is court is going to be a lot more specific and guided. It is saying, I want to improve our wealth. Okay, our goal is going to improve our wealth. You get X amount of wealth, or you do this to get this. The more initiatives during each season, you can launch an initiative or something akin to that, which is a lot more gradual. We're going to sock a little bit away here to get this. We're doing X to get Y. And a lot of times you can use these initiatives as secondary goals. Our main goal this season is to solve a crisis in our neighbor and get our daughter married, our sister married off to a lord across the river. Our secondary goal, kind of one of our initiative to improve our health, is that we want to trade with him. And we want to trade with, most notably, the people near him. because we don't have trade lines with them. We want to open up our relationships a little bit deeper with them. So what are we going to do? Well, we want to go there and we want to build that relationship up. That's kind of a secondary goal. It's also kind of showing that you, the game master, are kind of saying like, all right, they want to build trade, they want to improve their wealth. Let's add in some characters to this wedding that I have been planning that are open to it, some that aren't open to it. You're giving them a little bit more oomph to it, and it's kind of more of a group effort. In general, the group is pushing to do a thing, while that's kind of your seasonal initiative. That's kind of the thing that you're gradually building up to. Court is their opportunity to say, I want X, you get X. All right. Well, I'm going to end the stream here, and we'll thank you everyone who watched, and have a wonderful rest of your night.